Hey guys, I'm back again. I'm here today with my hashtag readsoullit tag. Now, you know I'm not that good with tags, but when I do it, I try to do my best. Okay? And this time I thought, okay, it's been a few years of doing hashtag readsoullit, and I've never actually created a tag for this hashtag. So today is the day. We're gonna do the hashtag tag. So here we go. Let's get started. So that would have to be Unforgivable Love, which is what we're reading for the read-along book. It's been going really, really well. Secondly would have to be this one, which is Little Yellow Dog, which is number 5 in the Easy Rawlins mystery series, which you know how much I love. And number 3 is We Cast a Shadow by Morris Carlos Ruffin, which is, yeah, it's good. It's good for the moment. You know, I'm only a third in, but it's, you know, it's going well. And this one I pre-ordered last year because I had to get on this one. It just sounded really interesting. So those are those 3 that I absolutely want to read. That, hands down, has to be this one. Another Country by James Baldwin. This book, it just blew my mind. It really blew my mind. This one was first published in 1963, and I read this with as a buddy read with another content creator who sadly doesn't do videos anymore. But we had an excellent discussion on this book, and let me tell you, this book, he's not playing, James Baldwin, in this one. This is a fiction, but it's quite meaty and chunky. It has many layers, and it makes you think about a lot of different things. I liked it so much, as you can see all the tabs, that I went and picked up this vintage edition, and it's just really pretty. But let me read you what it says in the beginning of this vintage edition, where they talk about Another Country. So it says, Another Country is America. The scene is New York from Greenwich Village to Harlem, and all the places fashionable and sordid that lie between. The city looms over the events of a crucial year in the lives of the 8 major characters whose tale is told in this remarkable novel. Barriers of sex and color are torn away. The complexities of love and hate are mercilessly explored. Between black and white, between man and woman, between man and man. The power of hate is communicated with a terrifying force. What remains are the shocking truths, the reality of human experience stretched to its limits. Another Country is born out of intense fury, rage, and above all, compassion, and it concerns timeless questions that demand explanations from a society which at times seems to insist that there is no hope. Oh, God. If you have not read Another Country, where you at? You need to get it. You need to read that. Hands down, this one right here. Yes, I said it, 40 Acres. 40 Acres would make, I mean, oh my God, it'd be so good in film. So good. And you know who would, I would love to see how Ava DuVernay would film it. Because this film would need a woman's touch, in my opinion. And I think, I wonder how she would, you know, film something like 40 Acres. But if you don't know what 40 Acres is about, I'm not going to tell you here, but just go and check it out. This book gets people talking. This is a good book for like a book club, or if you want to read some of the friend and you want to discuss. This one is it. Really, really interesting book that would make a fantastic movie, in my opinion. Okay, so I feel like our brothers don't get enough love, you know. We are like rallying behind the female writers, black female writers, quite a bit, but when it comes to rallying behind the male writers, we're a little bit slow on that one. So I decided to talk about Bedrock Faith. This book is a sleeper. This is a gem. This is an underrated book. We read this a couple years ago for the hashtag readsoullit. Read along, contemporary. I chose this one and I was really wary in the beginning, but I quickly started to see that I had chosen the right one. This book appears to be something that it's not. It appears to be not that, you know, serious. It seems to be really, really light, but it isn't. It does have some deep themes running through it, but not only that, he actually makes you laugh out loud. He makes you gawk, because you like jaw drop and gawk sometimes, and he makes you laugh and he makes you go, what? You know, this book had me in all my emotions. So good. The writing is really good. The storytelling is excellent. The way he develops the characters through the story, it's very interesting. Really worthwhile reading. Now, I don't think anybody knows who Eric Charles May is, but I'm tooting the horn for him because I think you should read this one. It's really, really good. Like this. Akashic Books is the publisher, and I even reached out to them and said, hey, is Eric Charles May working on something else? And he said, not that we know of, but who knows? So I'm a little bit sad that Eric Charles May hasn't written anything for the moment, because this one was really, really interesting to read. So as for new releases, this one I had to think about, but there is Heaven, My Home. Okay, now that's one I'm really interested in reading. This one is the second book in the, I think it's called the Highway 59 series. The first book was Bluebird, Bluebird, and this is by Attica Locke. And that one is coming up, I think it's coming out in summer, in June, if I'm not mistaken. The other one that I'm interested in is, it's called The Last Thing You Surround. This one sounds very interesting. I'm very intrigued. And then the third one is The Nickel Boys. You guys know I love me some Colson Whitehead. Even though some people don't like Colson Whitehead, I like Colson Whitehead. And I'll be looking to read The Nickel Boys. Okay, so those are the three that I'm really excited about. Come on now. You know who I'm going to say. Who am I going to say? Who am I going to say? Yes, I'm going to say it. Bernice L. McFadden. I think she already is, you know, that queen. I don't have any qualms with calling her queen. I'll just show just a few books. Book of Harlan. There's this one, Praise Song for the Butterflies, which I'm going to be reading next week. And of course, there is Loving Donovan. Now, you know, there's a plethora of other books that Bernice L. McFadden has written. She's written, I think it's 14 total. I've read them all except for this one. This is the only one I haven't read. She is a fabulous writer. Her quality of writing is just amazing, in the sense where when you pick up her book, you just keep reading and you don't realize time is just a ticking and turning and moving along. And before you know it, there you are. You've read 3/4 of the book or half the book, and you didn't see time pass. Her writing is very fluid and it's easy to get into, and it does have many layers to it. There's subtle layers, and that's what makes it even more interesting, because the layers are subtle. She's not heavy-handed at all with her imagery and metaphors and stuff like that. She's really, it's a joy to read her writing. So if you haven't picked her up, go check her out. You know, she's on Instagram. You can follow her there. She's also on Twitter. You can follow her there. Go on Goodreads. You'll see all of the books that are listed. They're all really good. They all have something special about them. Definitely a must read. And that's going to have to be Dear Ancestors by C.P. Patrick. Now, this is a poetry collection that explores the the transatlantic slave trade, and it's fantastic. It's just beautifully done, and it's not very long. It's like what, 58 pages, but you know, it's very short, the poems, but it's just amazing. It's like a jewel. It's like something that it's personal, but yet speaks to everyone. And the poems are short, sweet, and very clear. This is not obscure poetry, okay? So don't think this is like, you know, oh my God, because people say, oh, I don't want to read poetry. It's so obscure and I don't know what's going on. These poems right here, you understand exactly what she's talking about. There is no, you know, vagueness about the way she writes the poem. It really does tell the story of the African diaspora. It's freaking fantastic. 5 stars. Definitely check this one out. If I have to show some beautiful books, that's easy. First one is this one, The Warmth of Other Suns, The Epic Story of America's Great Migration by Isabel Wilkerson. If you have not read this book, you need to get on it. You late, like late, okay? This is a nonfiction that explores what the Great Migration was, and they do it through, I think it's 5 different people, and it's just so personable, and you get so attached to these people. You get attached to them, and you just want to know what's going to happen to them next, and you don't want anything bad to happen to them. You want them to succeed. And the way it's written, it's nonfiction, but it's written like fiction. So even when she's giving you details of politically or historically, it still feels like easy to digest. And that's what is so amazing about this book, because it is quite the chunker, but you don't feel like you're reading this long, epic, you know, typical hard to read kind of nonfiction. This is a nonfiction for people who are interested and who feel like they can't read nonfiction. You can read this one and you're gonna love it. Absolutely. Beautiful cover as well. Beautiful title. The next one that's beautiful is this cover. Jesmyn Ward's Sing Unburied Sing. Is this not a beautiful cover? I mean, wow. I think I asked people on Instagram if they thought this was, did they think this was Richie or did they think this was JoJo? Is this Richie or is this JoJo? What do you think? What do you think? Is this Richie or is it JoJo? But it's a beautiful cover all the same. The writing of this book is splendid. She's a really wonderful writer. I didn't get along well with the ghost, so I gave it 3 stars. But it is lovely writing. Very lovely writing. And I will be reading more things from Jesmyn Ward. Another beautiful book is this one, The Fire This Time, which is also a book that is edited by Jesmyn Ward. And this one was fantastic. It blew my mind. It's a beautiful, you know, collection of essays around what is it to be Black in America today. And some of the writers, you know, it's all of the, you know, the biggest names at the moment in writing, whether they write or are writing in magazines, newspapers, books. And so you have things like, you have Kizzy Layman has written something, Jesmyn Ward has written something, Isabel Wilkerson has written something. Also have Mitchell S. Jackson has written in here, Edwige Danticat, Danielle Jose Older has written something, Claudia Rankin has written something. So yeah, if you haven't read this book, and I don't think a lot of people have read this or talked about it, but this book broke my heart. It tore me up reading this one quite a bit. But it's a very, very good and necessary read. And this is another beautiful book just because I love the cover. This is Eric Jerome Dickey's The Blackbirds. Now, I had to mention this one because I think this one, it was sent to me for review, and I remember getting into this one, and it's a very typical Eric Jerome Dickey. I would say today Eric Jerome Dickey, not like his old stuff. But this one is a group of, I think it's what, 5 girls or 4 girls. They're best friends, the Blackbirds, and it's their lives, their boyfriends, you know, their loves and how things go wrong or whatever. And this one has a scene in this book. I was like, what? I had to like, what did I just read there? Did I understand what I just read? And I wound up reading it again and thinking, wow, he put that in here? That, you know, it's laughable, that scene, because I was just taken aback. Now, if you've read The Blackbirds, you know what scene I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, it was a nice escapish, you know, light kind of read. Eric Jerome Dickey is going down some pathway that is probably, in my opinion, not the best pathway for him. I prefer his older stuff than his newer stuff. But this one was a nice escape, and it's a big chunky one. So if you know, want something where, you know, you're on a holiday and you just want to like read something light, you know, this one, you know, will do. So hands down, that's going to be this one. It's called The Baby Dolls, Breaking the Race and Gender Barriers of the New Orleans Mardi Gras Tradition. And it's by Kim Marie Vaz. And that's this book right here. I am from New Orleans, and I had always heard people talking about the baby dolls, but no baby dolls in my family. And I've never really heard all the detailed explanation about how the baby dolls came to be, and, you know, maybe even where are they today kind of thing. So this is going to be a really interesting read. I picked this up when I was at home the last time, and it was published in 2013 from my university, Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, Fighting Tigers. So they published this one, and I'm really interested in reading it. This is the woman right here, Kim Marie Vaz, and she is Associate Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, a professor of education at Xavier University in New Orleans. Her area of research is the use of the expressive arts as a response to large group social trauma. And there she is right there. Okay. So, of course, I'm reading We Cast a Shadow by Maurice Carlos Ruffin. And I'm reading Unforgivable Love by Sophronia Scott. So that's what I'm reading at the moment. You know, hopefully I will be finished this one by Monday, and I will be halfway through this one as well. So I don't know, we're gonna see. Now, I'm just gonna say a few people. I will tag everyone below, and it's gonna start with Musical Tati, Left on Red, Rachel Ray, Books with B, Michael Reads, Retired Book Nerd, Morgan Gale, Belinda's Book Nook, Young, Gifted, and Black, and Onyx Pages. That's who I'm starting with. So that's it. That's the end of this tag. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys are having some great reading going on in February, and that you're enjoying the Instagram photo challenge, and that, you know, you're having a great Black History Month. I'll see you real soon with another video.